Hey, how's it going, everyone? So, today I will be cutting two of my Stenocereus martinezii for two reasons. For propagation reasons, and so that I want to cut it. Let me show you an example. Let me show you this. This is a few years old. So you see how fat it is up here, and you go down and you see how skinny it is down here. So what I want is for it to look like this, something like this, or I mean I have plenty of examples, something like this. I want it to have a really fat bottom. And I'm not talking about women, I'm just talking about my cactus. I want it to have a fat bottom, a fat trunk. So I'm not going to cut these. I have some that are a little smaller, and I'm going to cut those up. But I just wanted to show you. These are my two biggest ones. They are not mature, but they're seed grown. And seed grown plants, you could usually tell when they're really skinny down here. You'll see it corked maybe, and then you see it kind of opens up like this. And that's how you could tell sometimes, most of the time when they're seed grown. Here's another one. You could see how it's seed grown. See how thin it is in the bottom, and then it gets all fat. You know that one's weird. That Stenocereus frisii is peeling, spiraling. Anyways, so the objective is that I want to cut it so that it has a really fat bottom, and then it's going to be a really strong plant. I've done that to a few plants, and it does wonders. And not only that, some people will be like, are you crazy? But no, the good thing about it too is that this is going to have its apex, which is the center growth point, damaged. So it's going to pup. And wouldn't it be amazing if it gets 3 or 4 pups? And so I want to make like a little mother plant, a pup machine. So it gets pups, and once they get a good size, I'm going to chop them and trade and sell them. And these are really strong plants, but I'm not going to do it to these. These are really, really thick. Let me show you. Really thick. These absolutely beautiful. So these two I'm not gonna cut, but I have a few more which I will show you that I am going to cut. They're slightly younger seedlings, and they were also in smaller pots, so that restricts their growth. It caps them kind of in a it really hinders their growth when they have restrictions like that. So the best thing you could do is put it in the ground, or put it in a much bigger pot. So the ones in the backyard I have in 15-gallon pots, and I have some martinezii over here in 5-gallon pots, I believe. You know what? I believe they're 3-gallon pots actually. So these are the ones I'm going to propagate. This one is growing so perfect. Can't really tell, but I love the way this one's growing, and the bottom doesn't look as thin. But if you see this one, how it looks really thin in the bottom, and this one looks it's kind of thin, and then it's really fat. So these are the two that I'm going to propagate, and I'm thinking of cutting this one twice, cutting it here maybe, and then here, and then root that mid cut. It's going to be a small mid cut, but I'm going to root it, and it's going to take a while for it to pup and grow. But hey, we're in the dead set of spring. What better time than now, right? So let me move these over to where I'm going to be cutting them. 1 second. Okay guys, so I moved these two seedlings, which are a few years old. They actually had some roots coming out, and sadly I had to rip them. That's fine. I'm going to put these later on in the year, probably in a month. I'm going to put these in 15-gallon pots so that the roots can grow much bigger, so that they're not as restricted as they are in these little, I believe these are 3-gallon pots, because 5-gallon pots are those back there. They're bigger. Let me show you a 1-gallon pot. So this is a 1-gallon. So I believe these right here are 1 or 2 gallons. Yeah, I'm thinking 3, 1 or 2, whatever. And let me show you a gallon for size reference. Put it here, a gallon for size reference. You can see how thick these are. Here's a little 20-ounce bottle of water for size reference. Size reference. Okay? Okay, so I'm thinking I'm going to make some pup machines that are going to give me a lot of pups for years to come. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to number these. And I have, I'm going to use this, it's an oil-based marker. It's a Sharpie. It's white, it's oil-based. You have to do this first. This, the felt tip kind of goes in and out. Oh, so let me see. I'm going to name this number 1. I'm going to go ahead and mark it right there, number 1. I'm going to mark this as number 2. So these are going to be my number 1 and number 2 mother plants. And since this one is taller, look, it's significantly taller. It's, oh wow, I got some paint all over my gloves here. Okay, so since this one's taller, what I'm going to do is actually cut another mid-cut off this so that I could root that also. And that's going to be another pup machine with a thick base. So, without further ado, I know my friends are like, why are you doing this to a beautiful, rare martinezii? But the end outweighs the means. Meaning, do what you have to do to reach the goal that you want. And my goal is to have a cactus that has a really thick base. So I want it to have a really thick base. And then I'll be getting pups out of here. And then as they get, I'm going to wait till they get maybe 4, maybe 5, 6 inches. And then I'll cut them and root them. And I'll be selling those or trading them. Again, look at how thin. Let me get my water bottle. Look at how thin the bottom is. See that? And eventually they'll get thicker. And I've had friends who have experimented with the base, and they've got a razor or box cutter or a knife, and they would cut lines along the middle, in between the ribs, and the purpose was because they're trying to get the base to expand, and it has worked. But I'm not going to do that. But I want the base to naturally get bigger. And anyways, let me put some safety gloves on. These are some really cheap firm grip. These are goat skin. I've had relatives who are female who grow roses, and they're part of rose clubs that share cuttings and everything. And they only use, the majority of them use goat skin gloves. And that's why I bought these. I actually bought a bunch of these for like $5, and now they're like $7 at Home Depot. So you can't go wrong. Anyways, so I'm gonna use this cheap little blade. It's this cheap Stanley blade, and I have some alcohol here. I'm gonna sterilize this. I'm gonna sterilize it to have a. I don't want to introduce pathogens to it, but I recently cut some other plant with this, and I did clean it. Anyways, without further ado, this kind of hurts, but again, the end outweighs the means. Let me just figure out how much I want to cut it. Maybe here. What do you guys think? Let me go lower. I'm gonna go here. Yeah, I'm gonna do this. Oh man, it still hurts even though I know the benefits are gonna be awesome. I'm gonna reach my goal, but I'm just gonna go for it. Ah, look at this. Beautiful Stenocereus martinezii cutting. And I'm gonna be really tedious and really crazy about numbering these. So I'm gonna put a number 1, 3 different ribs. Put a number 1. After I repot it, after it heals, I might have to move up the 1. And I'm not gonna put sulfur yet. I'll do it later tonight. What I am going to do is apply a little bit of rooting hormone. And I'm using this number 8, which is overkill. You could get away with number 1 or number 3. And this is number 8. This is really strong. But I'm going to put it here on the tip here of this little paintbrush. Go over here. You don't want to inhale this. And I'm just going to sprinkle it on here. And let me get a little more. The good thing about this, putting rooting hormone when the flesh is cut, is that as it dries, it's going to be being absorbed straight into the cut. So later today or tomorrow, I'm going to put some sulfur. What I usually do is I'll mix I'll use the number 3, which is cheaper also, and I will mix it with sulfur, and then I'll really cover it completely. So that's my first cut, which is going to be my mother plant. So this is going to be the mother plant as of now. And this one I will not cut for many years. I just want this to root and get big. So you have to be patient when growing cacti, especially when you want to do things like this, because this is not going to root for, hopefully it roots quick, but we'll see. I still have to let it heal. The rule of thumb by old cactus collectors is wait an inch a month. So 1, 2, or an inch a week, something like that. I don't know. I just wait till it's really hard, till I could see that it's calloused over. Okay, let's do mother plant number 3. I'm sorry, number 2. Okay, so this one I kind of want it to be the same size, so they grow side by side. Let me measure. Let me use this as a measuring stick, kind of. So let me see one more time. It's around here, more or less. So it's around here where it has this little scab right here. So that's where I'm gonna do it, and I'm just gonna go for it. I don't want to wait too long. I might start crying and not want to cut it after all. I'm just gonna go for it. Let's do this, guys. Okay. And I'm thinking, oh, hold on. Let me put the rooting hormone on this. Oh. Man. Hold on. Put more of that rooting hormone. Putting more of that rooting hormone right onto this freshly cut, beautiful Stenocereus martinezii. And now, let me label it here. This is off mother plant number 2. Number 2. Turn it number 2. Okay, now you can see these are uneven here, and I want them to be the same size. So what I'm going to do also is level them out, and that's going to be the mid cut. So level it out right kind of around here. It doesn't have to be the exact same size. Maybe here, a little more, just to make that mid cut a little stronger. Oh. Okay, so first order of business, I'm gonna label this mother plant number 2, and I will do updated videos on this. I will call it Propagating Stenocereus martinezii. Okay, so me putting the number in the bottom will also help me know that this is the top and the soil goes down here. But you could also tell, if you look closely, you could see the top is bigger, so it's smaller and it gets bigger. Let's apply the rooting hormone, and this is going to get absorbed into the skin today. What I'm going to do tomorrow is you don't absolutely need sulfur, but it helps. So what I'm going to do is let this try to callus over a little today, and either later tonight or tomorrow I'll add sulfur to it after this kind of dries a little, or this is absorbed into the pulp, the flesh of the cactus. So I no longer need my rooting hormone. I have to take off my gloves. And now what I'm going to do, it might be a little messy, is I have a box of sulfur here, and I bought this sulfur a few years ago, and I bought 2 boxes. I have one I haven't opened, and I have this one, and it's crazy because I got it on sale for $10. So I paid $20 for this bag, and look, it was completely full, and I'm probably halfway past it. It's gonna last me forever. And what's crazy is that I saw this, I got it from Amazon. I checked my Amazon, and this is like quadruple the price now. It's crazy. Okay, so now this part I'm not going to root, but I want it to stay healthy. So I am going to apply sulfur on the top of that right now. And I don't like to brush it because then the brush gets wet. I like to kind of do this. When I go down, I hit it, and the sulfur falls down. I like to do it this way. Also, sometimes I'll put a shallow plate and put sulfur on there, and then I'll just dip the cutting on there, and I do that too. So this looks good. Let me put a little more. I'm just totally going to town on this with sulfur. So this is going to be one of my pup machines, number 2. And I'm tempted to do the other one and have that be the 3rd one, but I don't think I'm going to. You know what? I'm really debating. I don't know. Anyways, so now these 2 are going to have this exposed pulp, the inner pulp, if you want to call it pulp, the inner flesh. And I really want these to dry and not get any infections or get any rot. So I'm going to douse this in sulfur up here. And again, I did not put sulfur on the bottom cuttings where they're going to be rooted, because I'm having them absorb rooting hormone. Okay, let me put a little more here. And I wouldn't do this. I don't think I would do this to a cactus I only have one of, but I have several. I showed you my 2 bigger ones in the backyard. And yeah, that's it. So now tomorrow when it's sunny, I'm going to put this in the sun, so the sun helps cook and dry out the top. And I'll put these facing, I'll put like a rug or something, and I'll put them facing up so the sun is hitting that wound, and to help it callus over much faster. And you know what? In this instant, I decided to cut the other martinezii. Look, I have one here. I have a bunch of small ones here. I have many small ones. These are much smaller, but yeah, I never thought of selling these big ones anyways. So I decided I am going to do it. I'm going to hack away this martinezii, and this one I think is my favorite. The way it grew, the way it looks. Oh, this one didn't have any roots. So let's carry this to the back. All right, carry this back here. This little table I have here. And I didn't think I was gonna do this one, but fuck it. On this table, I recently repotted a bunch of PC, and I'm gonna, this is all gonna be rootstock. I'm gonna graft onto all of these, the very small ones. I'm gonna wait a long time before grafting onto them, but these bigger ones, I'm gonna wait like 2 months. Once they root, I'm gonna use them for grafting stock. This one already had roots, so I might use that one in maybe like 2 weeks. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. I think this is my favorite one. Just how it looks. I really love how this one looks. But I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna have them be about the same size. I'm gonna measure here. This one was right about here. Oh, they're about the same size. So then this one is gonna go to here. So I'm gonna cut it, wait, where was it? Let me see. So I'm gonna cut it right here, right above this one area that's kind of looks like the spine fell off. And I'm not even gonna think twice, even though I should. I really don't want to cut this one, but I'm going to anyways. So you know what? Right at the rib shift. Oh man, that sucks. I really love seeing the rib shift, but it's gonna have one up here. So okay, let's do this. Right here. Damn, it hurts because I really like this one. Okay. Whew. This is beefy. Beautiful. Absolutely love this one. I love them all, but when you have a lot of them that are grown by seed, they will have some variation, and some will grow fatter than others and stuff like that. So now let me get some rooting hormone here. I have a lot here. Okay. Put some rooting hormone on this guy. Okay. So, put this one down. What a beauty. So, this one will be from mother plant number 3. Put number 3 over here. Another number 3 over here. So mother plant number 3 right here. We'll put it on this mother plant here too. And this is going to help me keep track of the mother plants. And the reason I'm doing this is because in the future, if I have some friends that or people that want to buy cuttings off this plant once it gets older, they might want two different plants so they could cross-pollinate them. And that's where I could say, like, okay, let me give you a cutting on number 1 and number 2. And when they're flowering, you'll be able to cross-pollinate them. If I wouldn't number them, and you were to get like 4 cuttings off this and they flowered, they would not cross-pollinate. So you could get fruit from using other Stenocereus pollen or compatible pollen, but the seeds are not going to be pure martinezii. These are purebreds right here. So there you go, guys. You know what? Let me put sulfur on this last one. This third martinezii here. You know what? I wanted to do this last year, and I couldn't find myself to do it last year. But this year, they seem to have gotten really fat because of the rain. They absorbed a whole lot of rain and water, so they got really, really fat. And they grew a little too during the winter. That's weird. You could see it's barely becoming spring, but let me show you. I don't know if you could tell that it looks red inside, and that means it's they're growing. Yeah, you can't really tell. Let's see. Oh, it's this one. See how it's opening up? See the light color in there? Yeah, that's growing right there. Anyways, guys. So that'll be it for now. Here are my my cuttings that I am going to root in maybe a month or 2 after these are really healed. And you know what, guys? I'm going to do an updated video tomorrow so I could show you guys how I put them upside down so the sun hits them directly and helps dry out and helps them callus a lot faster, in opposed to putting them in the shade. I don't want to put them in the shade. When you put cuttings in the shade, sometimes they'll tend to mold a little, which a little mold doesn't necessarily mean it's rotting, but in that case, when that happens, I'll spray some hydrogen peroxide and or I'll put sulfur. So these are going to be my 3 mother plants, and maybe in another month or 2, I'm going to put these in a huge, at least 5-gallon pots, but I think I'm gonna see if I could put them in 15-gallon pots. And I'll tell you right now what size they are, because I kept saying these were 2-gallon or 3-gallon. Oh man, I can't see the number. You know what? I can't see the number. Yeah, I can't tell. Yeah, I can't tell. But I'm pretty sure these are 2 gallons. 2 or 3. Anyways, I'm going to put these in 15-gallon pots. And, yeah, hopefully, maybe 2 years from now, these will be full of pups. Worst case scenario, it'll give 1 pup and grow up, you know? That's the worst case scenario. But usually, you'll get a lot of pups. And I did that to a Propagating Stenocereus, where I cut the tip so I could have a fat base. And that one is this one right here. I wanted this seedling to have a really thick base, so I cut the tip. The problem is I cut it too short, so it struggled to grow, but now it's growing really nicely. And I had 2 mid-cuts from that same seedling, and I'll show you those right now just so you could see what I expect to happen with the martinezii. So the base of that Propagating Stenocereus that I showed you right now, I hacked it away too low. I think it was like this big. The bottom was this big and it was thin, but look at the growth. Let me zoom in a little more. Well, let me show you this one. This was a mid-cut. You zoom in. That was a mid-cut, and you could see it got 3 pups. Then this was a mid cut, or actually this was the roots, and now it has 3 really nice pups. It took a while for it to grow because the problem with this one is that I cut it way too short. So you learn from your mistakes, you know. It's good to learn from your mistakes. You could experiment, and that's why for those martinezii, I left a really big trunk. And there's one more mid cut from that tepamo. There was actually 2 more mid cuts. One, I cut the mid cut in half, and I grafted 2 of them. One of them died, and one of them survived. Let me show you that. The mid cut that survived is this one right here. The mid cut graft that I cut in half that survived is that one. And then I had the other mid cut. So there was a total of 3 mid cuts. And the other mid cut, I'm not gonna say unfortunately, but this mid cut only gave 1 pup, but it is absolutely beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful. But I'm going to go ahead and I need to repot this guy. Anyways, guys, that's it for today. I'll do an updated video tomorrow so you guys can see how I expose the wounds or the cuts to rain, so that to sunshine, so that the sun can help dry out the wound and help it callus over. So that's it for today, guys. Cheers until next time. Happy cactusing.